Before we dive into this incredible journey of resilience and unexpected connection, hit that like button and subscribe for more uplifting stories that will touch your heart. The scorching summer heat shimmered off the cracked pavement, blurring the edges of the bustling city. Sarah sat on a cold concrete bench, her meager belongings stuffed into a flimsy plastic bag, as hundreds of people rushed by. Each face a blur, each step a testament to their hurried lives, ignoring her completely. She was invisible, a ghost, until one man, pushing a stroller with a baby, stopped. He offered her a cold bottle of water, and with that simple act, a life began to change. But what truly set this encounter apart was the chilling secret Sarah carried, a secret that had shattered her world just 3 days before. "I can't do this anymore, Marcus," Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her face, her voice barely audible above the urban din. She watched as countless people passed by, each ignoring her. "As if I were invisible, as if I didn't exist." The man in the blue shirt, carrying a baby, stopped in front of her. He extended a cold bottle of water. "It's really hot today," he said in a kind voice. "My name's Marcus, and this is Amelia. What's your name?" Sarah looked up, surprised. It had been hours since anyone had truly seen her. "Sarah," she managed, taking the water with trembling hands. The cold liquid had never tasted so good. "Thank you, you didn't have to. Everyone deserves to be seen," Marcus replied, sitting on the step next to her. "My grandma used to say that when the universe puts someone in your path, it's because you both have something to learn from each other." Little Amelia, about 18 months old, looked at Sarah with curiosity. Her big brown eyes sparkled with innocence, and she extended her chubby little arms towards her with an innocent smile. "Hello, little one," Sarah whispered, feeling a strange warmth in her chest when the baby giggled. "She likes you," Marcus observed. "Amelia doesn't smile like that with just anyone. You must have something special about you." "Special?" Sarah let out a bitter laugh. "I don't think there's anything special about a homeless woman sitting on a sidewalk." "Tell me what happened," Marcus asked calmly. "Only if you want to, of course." There was something in his voice that invited trust. Sarah looked at him intently. He was an attractive man, well-dressed but not ostentatious. His blue shirt was wrinkled, as if he'd been carrying the baby all day. He had dark circles under his eyes that spoke of sleepless nights, but his eyes were kind. "I lost my job 3 days ago," Sarah began, surprised at how easy it was to talk to him. "I'm an architect. I specialize in social housing. I worked at a firm that had to make cutbacks. At the same time, I was evicted because I couldn't pay the rent." "An architect?" Marcus was genuinely interested. "Where did you study?" "At NYU. I always wanted to design spaces that would improve the lives of people who needed it most." "Sounds silly now, doesn't it?" "Not at all," Marcus said with conviction. "The world needs more people like you." "What kind of projects did you do?" Sarah brightened a little when talking about her work. She told him about the residential complex she had designed, her ideas for optimizing small spaces, how she had studied the real needs of low-income families. "I wanted houses to be more than 4 walls and a roof," she explained. "I wanted them to be real homes, places where families could grow and be happy." Amelia began to fidget in her father's arms. Marcus shifted her position with the practiced ease of someone used to caring for a baby alone. "And your wife?" Sarah asked, noticing he didn't wear a ring, but was clearly a father. Marcus's expression saddened. "Carmen died when Amelia was born," he said softly. "There were complications during childbirth. Since then, it's just been the 2 of us." "I'm so sorry," Sarah murmured, feeling the pain in his voice. "It was very difficult at first, raising a baby alone when you have no idea what you're doing. But Amelia has taught me more about unconditional love than I thought was possible." "You clearly love her very much." "She's my whole world," Marcus confirmed, kissing his daughter's forehead. "And you? Do you have family?" "My mom died last year. Cancer. Her treatment expenses left me in debt. My dad abandoned us when I was 12. So it was always just the two of us. Then you understand what it's like to be strong for someone else. Sarah nodded. They talked for almost an hour. Marcus told her about his work in construction, as he vaguely described it. It was clear he was financially stable from his clothes and relaxed demeanor, but he didn't boast or make Sarah feel bad about her situation. You know what? Marcus said, standing up as Amelia began to fall asleep. I believe in second chances. I believe things happen for a reason. He pulled a simple card from his wallet. It just had a name, Marcus Stone, and a phone number. If you need anything at all, call me. And Sarah, this isn't the end of your story. It's just a difficult chapter. Why are you helping me? Sarah asked, taking the card. You don't even know me. Because someone helped me when I needed it most, Marcus replied. And because I believe there's a reason we met today. After they left, Sarah stayed, looking at the card. There was something about that man that calmed her, as if he truly believed everything would be okay. That night, she found a place in a women's shelter. As she settled into her narrow bed, she turned on her phone to look for jobs online. But instead, the main news appeared on her screen. Stone Associates Construction announces new social housing project to benefit thousands of families. The headline read. Her heart stopped when she saw the photo accompanying the news. It was Marcus, the man who had helped her on the street, giving an interview in front of the cameras. But he wasn't just any construction worker. He was the CEO of the most powerful construction company in the country. What the heck? She muttered, reading the full news. Marcus Stone, 32, heir to the construction empire founded by his father, was announcing a $500 million investment in a housing project for low-income families. Sarah stayed awake all night, looking at the card in her hands. Why had a millionaire stopped to help her? Was it just pity? Or was there really something more behind that seemingly casual encounter? The questions swirled in her head unanswered. But for the first time in days, she felt a small spark of hope in her chest. CTA, what do you think Sarah's next move should be? Will she call Marcus? Comment your thoughts below and hit that subscribe button. Sarah spent 4 days looking at Marcus's card without daring to call. The mix of gratitude, confusion, and wounded pride paralyzed her. How could she contact a millionaire CEO? What would he think of her now that she knew the truth about his identity? On the 5th day, when she ran out of money for another night at the shelter, desperation overcame pride. With trembling hands, she dialed the number. The phone rang twice before a familiar voice answered. Sarah? Marcus's voice sounded genuinely happy. I'm so glad you called. I saw the news, she murmured. I know who you really are. There was a brief pause. And does that change anything? Marcus asked calmly. It should. I'm a homeless stranger and you're. I'm a single dad who needs help, he interrupted. Are you still looking for a job? Sarah swallowed. Yes, but I don't think. I need someone trustworthy to look after Amelia. I have to travel for work in the coming weeks and I don't like leaving her with strangers. Would you be interested? Are you serious? Completely. This isn't charity, Sarah. I need someone with a college education who speaks well, who's responsible. Amelia connected with you immediately, and that doesn't happen often. Sarah felt tears of relief. When do I start? You can come today. I'll send you the address. 2 hours later, Sarah stood in front of an impressive mansion in the hills. The perfectly manicured gardens and modern architecture intimidated her for a moment. Marcus opened the door personally, carrying Amelia, who immediately reached out to Sarah with joy. Sarah, the little one babbled. She knows my name already? Sarah asked, surprised. She's been asking for you all week, Marcus smiled. Come in. I'll show you around the house. The mansion was impressive, but strangely cold. The spaces were enormous and elegant, but seemed little inhabited. Family photographs were limited to a few pictures of Marcus with Amelia and some photos of a beautiful woman, who was obviously Carmen. This is your room, Marcus showed her. A small but comfortable room next to Amelia's. It has its own bathroom and everything you need. I'm going to live here? Sarah asked incredulously. It's more practical. Amelia wakes up early, and sometimes at night. Besides, that way you won't have to worry about transportation. Over the next few days, Marcus explained Amelia's routine. Her favorite foods, her nap times, her preferred toys. The little girl was intelligent and affectionate, but Sarah noticed she seemed hungry for female attention. Her dad does what he can, Sarah murmured as she brushed Amelia's hair. But she needs a maternal figure. The first week was a period of adaptation. Marcus left early in the mornings and returned late at night, always apologizing for the long hours. The construction business doesn't sleep, he explained, especially now with the new project. Sarah began to explore the house during Amelia's naps. She found an impressive library, a modern kitchen that seemed little used, and several spaces that clearly hadn't been touched since Carmen's death. On the Friday of her first week, while playing with Amelia in the garden, she discovered some architectural plans forgotten on a patio table. Her professional curiosity overcame her discretion. The plans showed the social housing project she had seen in the news. Sarah studied them carefully, and her heart began to beat faster. There were several obvious errors. Ventilation problems, inefficient space distribution, and a lack of common areas that would foster family coexistence. For days she struggled with herself over whether to mention anything to Marcus. She didn't want to seem intrusive, but the errors could affect the quality of life for hundreds of families. When Marcus returned from his business trip the following Monday, Sarah had made a decision. "Marcus, I need to talk to you about something," she told him during dinner after putting Amelia to bed. "Is everything okay? Did Amelia misbehave?" "No, it's not that. It's about, I saw the plans for the social housing project by chance on the patio." Marcus tensed slightly. "Sarah, those documents are confidential." "I know, and I don't want to overstep," she hastened to say. "But I noticed some things that could be improved." "What kind of things?" Sarah took a deep breath and began to explain her observations. She spoke about the ventilation problems that would cause humidity, the space distribution that didn't consider the real needs of American families, and the lack of recreational areas for children. "Low-income families don't just need a roof," she explained with passion. "They need spaces that foster family unity, that give them dignity, that their children have a safe place to play." Marcus listened with increasing attention. His eyes lit up as Sarah developed her ideas. "Where exactly did you study?" he asked when she finished. "At NYU, but I specialized in social architecture. I did my thesis on optimizing spaces in affordable housing." "Do you have that thesis?" "It's on my computer, but my laptop was left in the apartment when I was evicted. We can get another copy." "Sarah, what you just said, it's brilliant. Exactly what this project needs." That night, Marcus made her a proposal that would change everything. "Would you be interested in working as a consultant on the project? In addition to looking after Amelia, of course." Sarah felt her heart leap. "Are you serious?" "Completely. We need someone who truly understands the needs of the families who will live there. Someone who thinks about people, not just numbers." For the first time in months, Sarah felt her life had direction again. Not only did she have a roof over her head and food, but the opportunity to do what she truly loved. Design spaces that improved people's lives. "I accept," she said with a genuine smile. "But I have one condition." "What is it?" "I want to visit the families who are going to live there, get to know their stories, understand what they really need. We can't design for people we don't know." Marcus smiled broadly. "Deal. I think this project is going to be something special, Sarah. Something that's truly going to change lives." As she went up to her room that night, Sarah couldn't help but smile. A week ago, she was homeless and hopeless. Now she had a temporary home, a job she loved, and a little girl who filled her with joy every day. Maybe Marcus was right. Maybe everything happened for a reason. CTA, what do you think of this unexpected turn of events? Will Marcus and Sarah's feelings deepen? Don't forget to like and share this story. The next 3 months transformed everyone's lives in the house. Sarah became a fundamental part of the social housing project, contributing ideas that revolutionized the original design. Her visits to the beneficiary families gave her a unique perspective that impressed the entire team of architects. "Look at this, Marcus," Sarah would tell him every afternoon, showing him her new sketches. "If we move the kitchen here and create an open space with the living room, mothers can cook while watching their children do their homework." Marcus watched how Sarah's eyes sparkled when she talked about her work. It was evident that she had found her true calling. The house also changed completely. The spaces that once seemed cold and empty were now filled with life. Sarah reorganized the furniture to create warmer environments, placed plants in the windows, and filled the spaces with Amelia's constant laughter. "Sarah, look!" the little one would shout every afternoon when Sarah returned from the offices, running towards her with open arms. "How was your day, princess?" Sarah would ask, picking her up and showering her with kisses. Marcus began to come home earlier, eager to share the day's events. Dinners became cherished moments, where the three talked like a true family. "Daddy, Sarah taught me how to make really tall towers," Amelia would tell him in her baby language during one of those dinners. "Oh, really? And they didn't fall down?" Marcus would ask, playing along. "No, because Sarah's very smart." Sarah felt a strange warmth in her chest every time Amelia naturally included her in her world. The little one had started calling for her when she had nightmares, asked for her to be the one to bathe her, and had even begun to imitate her gestures. One Wednesday night, after a particularly successful meeting with the project investors, Marcus came home more animated than usual. "Sarah, they approved all your modifications," he shouted from the entrance. "Seriously?" Sarah ran down the stairs with Amelia in her arms. "The committee was impressed with your presentation. They said they had never seen such a human approach to a social housing project." Without thinking, Marcus hugged her, with Amelia between the two. It was a spontaneous hug, full of genuine joy, but when they pulled apart, both felt something different in the air. "This calls for a celebration," Marcus murmured without fully letting go of her hands. That night, after putting Amelia to bed, they stayed on the terrace talking late into the night. New York City glittered at their feet, and a gentle breeze moved Sarah's hair. "Do you know what's the strangest thing about all this?" Marcus asked, looking at the stars. "What?" "That I feel like this house is truly a home for the first time since Carmen died." Sarah felt butterflies in her stomach. For weeks she had been denying the feelings growing in her chest every time Marcus smiled, every time he played with Amelia, every time he looked at her with those admiring eyes. "Marcus," she began, but he continued. "After Carmen died, I thought I would never again feel like my house was a place I wanted to be. It was just the place where I slept between business trips. But since you arrived, everything is different." "Different how?" Amelia laughs more. "I sleep better, and for the first time in 2 years, I look forward to coming home every night." Sarah looked him in the eyes. In them, she saw something that scared and excited her at the same time. "Amelia loves you," she whispered. "I've never seen a child so attached to someone who isn't their blood relative." "And I?" Marcus moved closer. "I can't pretend that I don't feel something special for you, Sarah. I think you feel it too." Sarah's heart pounded so hard she thought he could hear it. "Marcus, I don't know if this is a good idea. I work for you, I live in your house, I take care of your daughter. The lines are very blurred." "You're right," he admitted, gently taking her hand. "But I can't keep pretending this is just work. Not when Amelia asks for you before she asks for me. Not when you're the first thing I think about when I wake up." Sarah felt tears in her eyes. It was everything she had wanted to hear, but also what she feared most. What if things don't work out? What if we ruin what we have? Amelia doesn't deserve to go through another loss. "Then we'll be careful," Marcus said, bringing his face closer to hers. "We'll go slow. But I can't keep denying what I feel." They were about to kiss when they heard the sound of a key in the front door. "Marcus, are you home?" a female voice shouted from downstairs. Marcus quickly pulled away from Sarah with a panicked expression. "Is that Elena?" he murmured. "Carmen's sister. She has a key and she comes whenever she wants." Elena Santamaria came up to the terrace as if she owned the house. She was an elegant woman in her mid-40s, with perfectly styled hair and a suit that cost more than Sarah's monthly salary. "Marcus, darling, I needed to see you." She stopped when she noticed Sarah. "Who is this woman?" The hostility in her voice was evident. Sarah immediately felt uncomfortable, as if she had been caught doing something wrong. "Elena, she's Sarah. I told you about her. She looks after Amelia and works on the architecture project." "The nanny lives here now?" Elena asked disdainfully, looking Sarah up and down. "It's more practical this way with Amelia's schedule and—" "Marcus, can we talk in private?" Elena interrupted. "It's about something important." Sarah felt completely out of place. I'm going to check on Amelia," she murmured, escaping into the house. From the little girl's room, she could hear raised voices on the terrace, though she couldn't distinguish the words. Elena sounded annoyed, and Marcus tried to calm her down. Half an hour later, Elena left with a slammed door that woke Amelia. Marcus went up to the little girl's room, where Sarah was comforting the child. "Everything okay?" Sarah asked softly. "Elena is worried," Marcus said, avoiding her gaze. "She thinks I'm replacing Carmen's role in Amelia's life too quickly." "And what do you think?" Marcus walked over and stroked his daughter's hair, who had already fallen back asleep. "I think Carmen would have wanted Amelia to grow up in a loving home. And I think what I feel for you has nothing to do with replacing her memory." Sarah felt an enormous relief, but also a growing concern. Elena clearly saw her as a threat. "Does she come often?" Sarah asked. "More than I'd like," Marcus admitted. "But don't worry about her. The important thing is what this family feels." That night, Sarah stayed awake thinking about Marcus's words. For the first time in her life, she had found not only a job she loved, but a family that made her feel complete. But Elena's expression had stuck with her. She had seen something in her eyes that deeply worried her. Something told her Carmen's sister wouldn't settle for a simple conversation. "Sitia, this is getting intense. What do you think Elena's real motive is?" Comment your predictions and don't forget to subscribe for the thrilling conclusion. The next day, Elena returned with a folder full of legal documents. She arrived early in the morning before Marcus left for work, and her expression was one of absolute determination. "Marcus, we need to talk now," she announced, placing the papers on the dining table. "And she should hear this too." Sarah was preparing Amelia's breakfast when she heard her name. Marcus gestured for her to come, his face pale with worry. "What's all this about, Elena?" Marcus asked, glancing at the documents. "Carmen's will," Elena replied coldly. "Specifically, a clause she established to protect Amelia." Sarah felt a knot in her stomach. Amelia played calmly in her high chair, oblivious to the tension in the air. "Carmen was my younger sister, Marcus. I knew her better than anyone," Elena continued. "She knew that men couldn't raise a girl alone. That's why, before she died, she established a very specific clause in her will." "What clause?" Marcus asked, though his voice suggested he feared the answer. "If you ever live with another woman, or remarry, I can immediately request custody of Amelia." Elena smiled with satisfaction. "Carmen knew you'd need time to heal, but she also knew you might make hasty decisions that would affect my niece." Sarah felt as if the ground opened beneath her. "That's ridiculous, Elena," Marcus protested. "Carmen would never do something like that." "Oh no." Elena pulled out certified documents. "Here it is, signed by her and 2 witnesses. If Amelia lives under the same roof as a woman who isn't a blood relative, that constitutes premature replacement of the maternal figure, and I have the legal right to request her custody." Marcus reviewed the papers with trembling hands. His face fell as he read. "Elena, this is blackmail. This is protection," Elena retorted. "Carmen was my sister, Marcus. She knew that men get carried away by their needs and forget what's best for children. This clause was to ensure Amelia didn't suffer from your impulsive decisions." Sarah slowly approached, carrying Amelia, who was beginning to get restless from the tension. "What exactly does that mean?" she asked in a trembling voice. "It means if she keeps living here, I can take Amelia tomorrow," Elena replied harshly. And believe me, I will. I have a stable home, financial resources, and a professional nanny. No judge would give custody to a single father who lives with a homeless woman he met on the street. Elena's words were like slaps. Sarah felt shame and pain at the same time. Elena, stop, Marcus intervened. You have no right to speak to Sarah like that. I have every right in the world. I'm Amelia's aunt, and my sister gave me the legal authority to protect her. Amelia began to cry, sensing the tension. Sarah automatically comforted her, but Elena took her from her arms. You shouldn't even be holding her, she said coldly. You're not her mother. Those words shattered Sarah more than anything else. For months, she had felt like Amelia was her own daughter. Marcus stood up, furious. Enough, Elena. Give Amelia back to Sarah right now. No. Elena held the child firmly. From this moment on, this woman is not going to be near my niece until you make a decision, Marcus. Either she leaves this house today, or I start legal proceedings tomorrow morning. Marcus looked at Sarah with desperation. His eyes were full of pain and conflict. Give me a day to think about it, he pleaded. There's nothing to think about, Elena retorted. Either you get her out of here today or I take Amelia. It's that simple. After Elena left with Amelia, the house fell into absolute silence. Marcus and Sarah sat in the dining room, looking at the legal documents. It can't be real, Marcus murmured. Carmen wasn't like that. She was understanding, loving. But she was dying, Sarah said softly. Maybe she was scared and wanted to protect Amelia in any way possible. Marcus looked at her with tear-filled eyes. I can't lose you, Sarah. But I also can't lose my daughter. I know. Sarah approached and took his hands. And you know what the right answer is. There isn't a right answer. Any decision I make will destroy something important. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling her heart break into pieces. Yes, there is, Marcus. Amelia is your daughter. She's your blood, your responsibility, your whole world. I'm just someone who appeared in your life by chance. Don't say that, Marcus protested. You didn't appear by chance. You changed our lives. Amelia loves you. I love you. And I love you all. That's why I have to go, Sarah interrupted, tears streaming down her cheeks. If I stay, Elena will take Amelia. And you'd never forgive yourself for losing your daughter for me. I wouldn't forgive myself either. Marcus collapsed into the chair, defeated. This isn't fair. For the first time in 2 years, I felt like my life had meaning. For the first time, Amelia had a maternal figure who truly loved her. And she'll always have me, Sarah said, kneeling in front of him. In her heart, in her memories of these months. But now she needs her dad to protect her. Even if that means I can't be here. That afternoon, with a broken heart, Sarah packed her few belongings. Marcus offered her money, job recommendations, anything that could help her. It's not money I need, Sarah told him. I need to know that I did the right thing. That I put Amelia's well-being before my own happiness. And what about your happiness? Marcus asked, taking her face in his hands. My happiness is knowing that you two will be okay. That Amelia will grow up with her dad. That you'll be a family. They kissed for the first and last time at the door of the house. It was a kiss full of love, pain, and farewell. I love you, Marcus murmured against her lips. I love you too, Sarah responded. That's why I'm leaving. The next 2 months were the most difficult of their lives. Sarah found work at a medium-sized architectural firm, but nothing compared to the passion she had felt working on the social housing project. She rented a small apartment and tried to rebuild her life, but every night she stayed awake thinking about Amelia and Marcus. Marcus became distant and melancholic. Elena temporarily moved into the house to oversee Amelia's well-being, but the little girl cried constantly, asking for Sarah. Where did she have to go, my love? Marcus would answer, feeling every word was a stab. Why? Did Amelia do something wrong? No, princess. Amelia didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes adults have to make difficult decisions. But Amelia didn't understand. She stopped eating normally, stopped playing with her favorite toys, and woke up crying at night. Elena, though she had gotten what she wanted, realized that her victory came at an enormous emotional cost for the entire family. One day, Carla, Sarah's best friend from college, visited her and found her completely disheartened. "I've never seen you like this over a man," Carla observed. "Are you sure giving up is the right answer?" "What else can I do?" Sarah replied. "He has to choose his daughter, and I can't ask him to risk that relationship for me." "But have you really investigated that clause? Have you talked to a lawyer?" Carla insisted. "Sometimes things aren't as absolute as they seem." Sarah looked up for the first time in weeks, with a spark of hope. "Do you think it's worth trying?" "I think true love is always worth trying for." Sarah took a week to gather the courage to seek legal help. Carla accompanied her to the office of Robert Hayes, a lawyer specializing in family law who had a reputation for being both brilliant and honest. "Let's see what we have here," Robert murmured, adjusting his glasses as he meticulously reviewed the documents Elena had shown. "This clause is very specific, but there are several points that catch my attention." Sarah leaned forward, her heart pounding. "What kind of points?" "First, this clause only applies if the father lives with or remarries without at least 2 years having passed since the mother's death. According to these documents, Carmen died more than 2 years ago. Does that mean it no longer applies?" Carla asked. "Not necessarily, but it weakens the case." Second, and most importantly, Robert pointed to a specific line. "The clause requires the sister to demonstrate that the new relationship is detrimental to the child's well-being. Do you have evidence that you harmed the child in any way?" "On the contrary," Sarah replied. "Amelia thrived with me. She was happier, more communicative." "Then we have a solid case to defend ourselves," Robert smiled. "But there's something else that bothers me about these documents." The lawyer stood up and began to pace his office. "In my experience, when someone establishes such specific clauses in a will, especially shortly before dying, there's usually additional documentation, letters, explanations, perhaps even later modifications." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'd like to review the complete will file." "Do you know who Carmen's lawyer was?" Sarah shook her head, but remembered seeing some documents in Marcus's study. "I can find out." "Do that. Meanwhile, I'm going to do some research on Elena Santamaria. If she's going to use this will as a weapon, I need to know what kind of person she is." That afternoon, Sarah summoned her courage and sent a message to Marcus, briefly explaining that she had consulted a lawyer and needed information about Carmen's will. Marcus replied immediately, "Meet me at the usual cafe in an hour." When Sarah arrived at the small cafe near the park, she found Marcus waiting. He looked exhausted, with deep dark circles under his eyes and several days' beard. It was evident that the last 2 months had been terrible for him too. "How's Amelia?" Sarah asked immediately. "Bad," Marcus admitted painfully. "She cries for you every day. She doesn't eat well, she doesn't sleep well. Elena says she'll get over it. But you don't believe her?" "I think she lost her maternal figure twice in her short life. First her biological mother, now you." Both were silent for a moment, feeling the weight of the separation. "Sarah, about the will?" Marcus continued. "I've been going through all of Carmen's papers. The lawyer who handled everything is named Mr. Miller. Here's his information." He handed her a business card. "There's something else," Marcus added hesitantly. "I found a box with Carmen's personal documents that I had never fully reviewed. There were letters, photos, some writings, and a sealed envelope with instructions to open it only if I found someone special." Sarah's heart stopped. "Did you open it?" "I didn't dare. Part of me feels like it would be betraying her memory, but another part feels like maybe Carmen had something to tell me about this situation." "Marcus, I think you should open it. Would you come with me?" he asked, taking her hand across the table. "I don't think I can do it alone." An hour later they were in Marcus's study, looking at the sealed envelope that read, "For Marcus when you find love again." With trembling hands, Marcus opened the envelope. Inside was a multi-page letter written in Carmen's elegant handwriting. "My love, Marcus read aloud, his voice breaking. If you are reading this, it means you have found someone special, and I am deeply happy for you. Sarah felt tears streaming down her cheeks as Marcus continued reading. I know I'm going to die, Marcus. The doctors haven't told me everything, but a woman knows these things. My only pain is leaving you alone with our beautiful Amelia. Marcus paused, taking a deep breath before continuing. I've been researching an extraordinary architect named Sarah Davies. I've heard about her in professional circles, about her work in social housing, about her genuine heart to help others. I have a strange certainty that she will be important in your life and in our daughters. Sarah gasped. Carmen had known about her before she died? Don't let my sister Elena, with all her pain and her fear of change, interfere with your happiness. Amelia needs a happy father and a loving maternal figure. I can no longer be that person, but I trust that the universe will put the right person in your path. Marcus stopped reading, looking at Sarah in utter amazement. It can't be a coincidence, he murmured. Carmen wrote your name before she died. Keep reading, Sarah whispered. If that person is Sarah Davies, give her this letter too, because she needs to know that this is not a coincidence, it is destiny. And tell her that a woman who never met her blesses her with all her heart to love my family. At the end of the letter was a postscript that changed everything. Elena doesn't know about this letter. The will clause she knows was an earlier version, when I was scared and confused. I modified the will a week before childbirth, nullifying that clause. The updated documents are with Mr. Miller, the lawyer. Elena only has copies of the first version. Marcus and Sarah looked at each other in absolute silence for several minutes. Carmen blessed us, Sarah finally murmured. Even before we met, she blessed us. And Elena has been using outdated documents, Marcus added with a mixture of relief and anger. The next day, Robert confirmed everything with Mr. Miller. The documents Elena had shown had no legal validity. Carmen's final will contained no restrictive clauses about Marcus's future relationships. What do we do now? Sarah asked. Now we're going to get my daughter, Marcus replied with determination. And we're going to tell Elena the truth her sister wanted us to know. When they arrived at the house, they found Elena in the living room trying to console an inconsolable Amelia who was crying for Sarah. Elena, Marcus said firmly, you need to read this. He extended Carmen's letter. Elena took it reluctantly, but as she read, her expression changed from arrogance to shock and, finally, to deep pain. Carmen was always wiser than me, Elena admitted, sobbing when she finished reading. I was so afraid of losing Amelia too, that I couldn't see I was destroying the happiness Carmen wanted for you. Amelia, seeing Sarah, shrieked with joy and ran to her. Sarah's back. The little one cried, clinging to her as if she would never let go. Yes, my love, Sarah murmured, showering her with kisses. Sarah's back and she's never leaving again. Marcus approached and hugged them both, while Elena watched with a mixture of sadness and acceptance. Can you forgive me for pushing you away? Marcus asked Sarah. Can you forgive me for not fighting harder for us? There's nothing to forgive, Sarah replied. You protected your daughter as you should have. But now we know we can be together and honor Carmen's memory at the same time. Elena slowly approached. Sarah, I need to ask for your forgiveness. My grief blinded me. Carmen wrote in that letter that you had a genuine heart, and now I see she was right. Amelia needs you, and you love her as if she were your own daughter. I'll always love her, Sarah responded. And I understand you, Elena. You just wanted to protect her. Could you teach me how to be a better aunt? Elena asked with genuine humility. I want to be part of Amelia's life in the right way. That night, as they tucked Amelia into bed together, who for the first time in 2 months fell asleep peacefully and happily, Marcus took Sarah's hands. Carmen was right. This wasn't a coincidence. No, Sarah smiled. It was destiny. And for the first time since they met, they knew that nothing and no one would ever separate them again. CTA. What's your favorite moment from Sarah and Marcus's journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video if you were moved by their story. A year had passed since Sarah and Marcus were reunited forever, and the garden of the mansion in the hills had never looked more beautiful. Carmen's flowers, as they now called them, decorated every corner of the space where the most anticipated wedding of the year would be celebrated. "Are you nervous?" Carla asked as she finished adjusting Sarah's veil. "No," Sarah replied with a radiant smile. "For the first time in my life, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." The dress was simple but elegant, perfect for a garden ceremony. Sarah had insisted that it not be ostentatious. Carmen would have wanted something simple and full of love, she had said when they chose it. Downstairs, Marcus adjusted his suit while Elena helped Amelia put on her little white dress. The child, now almost 3, had insisted on being the flower girl and carrying the rings in a flower basket. "Are you sure you know what to do, princess?" Marcus asked, kneeling in front of his daughter. "Yes, walk slowly, give the rings to the man, and then you and Sarah kiss," Amelia replied seriously, as if she had rehearsed 100 times. "And then what happens?" asked Elena, who had become a loving and present aunt. "Then Sarah is my mommy forever," Amelia shouted with joy, clapping. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. Over the past few months, Amelia had started calling Sarah Mommy, quite naturally. The first time she did, Sarah had cried tears of happiness for hours. The ceremony began at 5 in the afternoon, with the golden October sun illuminating the garden. The guests were few but significant. Colleagues from the social housing project, some close friends, and the first families benefiting from the housing complex, now called the Carmen-Sarah residences. When the garden gates opened, Amelia appeared, walking slowly down the improvised aisle between the chairs, concentrating on her important mission. Guests smiled, seeing the little one in her white dress and serious expression. Behind her, Sarah walked towards the altar, accompanied by Carla. Marcus, seeing her, felt his heart overflow with love. She was the woman who had appeared in his life when he needed her most, who had transformed his house into a home, who had loved his daughter as if she were her own. "Dear friends and family," the officiant began, "we are here to celebrate the union of Marcus and Sarah, 2 people who have found and loved the strength to build a beautiful family." Elena stood up to read a poem Carmen had written years ago for special occasions. "My sister always said that true love doesn't replace, it multiplies," Elena declared with a clear voice. Today I see she was right. Carmen's love for Marcus and Amelia multiplies through Sarah's love for them. When it was time to exchange vows, Marcus spoke first. "Sarah, the day I found you on that bench, I thought I was just giving you a bottle of water. I didn't know you were giving me my life back. I promise to love you, respect you, and be your partner in all the dreams we build together." Sarah, with tears of happiness, replied, "Marcus, when everything had crumbled in my life, you were the first person who decided to truly see me. I promise to love your daughter as if she were my own, to honor Carmen's memory, and to build the home I always dreamed of with you." Amelia, impatient, approached with the ring basket. "Here they are," she announced, causing laughter among the guests. "Thank you, princess," Marcus said, taking the rings. "Do you want to help me put the ring on Mommy Sarah?" "Yes." Amelia clapped as she helped her dad. When the officiant declared them husband and wife, the kiss was interrupted by Amelia, who hugged both their legs. "We're a family," the little one shouted, and all the guests applauded. The reception was simple but full of joy. During the first dance, Marcus, Sarah, and Amelia danced together, like the family they were always destined to be. "Do you see that very bright star?" Sarah asked, pointing to the sky that was beginning to darken. "Do you think it's Carmen?" Marcus asked. "I'm sure it is," Sarah replied, "watching over us and blessing our family." 2 weeks later, the Carmen-Sarah residences were officially inaugurated. 200 families moved into beautiful, functional, and dignified homes, designed with Sarah's heart and expertise. During the inauguration ceremony, a reporter asked Sarah about the moment that had changed her life. "I think we all have moments when we feel invisible," Sarah reflected, with Marcus holding Amelia beside her. But it only takes one person who decides to see us, one person who stops when everyone else walks by. True love begins with compassion, and compassion begins with deciding to truly see another human being. And what would you say to the families who now live here? The reporter asked. This isn't just a place to live, it's a place to dream, Marcus replied. My wife designed every space thinking of you, of your children, of your dreams for the future. We want you to know that you deserve a dignified and beautiful life, Sarah added. Everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves a home. That night, as they tucked Amelia into her new room, decorated with drawings she had made of her family, the little one asked, Can Mommy Carmen see our new house? Of course, my love, Sarah replied, stroking her hair. And she's very happy to see us so close. How do you know? Because every time we love each other very much, she smiles from heaven. Amelia was satisfied with the answer and fell asleep peacefully, hugging her favorite doll. When they left the room, Sarah and Marcus stopped in the hallway to admire the family photo they had taken on their wedding day. In it, the three of them smiled, with the garden in the background and that golden sunset light that had made everything perfect. You know what's the most incredible thing about all this? Marcus murmured, embracing his wife. What? That it started with an act as simple as offering a bottle of water to a stranger. She wasn't a stranger, Sarah corrected. She was the woman who was destined to be part of your family. Carmen knew it before we did. Marcus kissed her softly, as a night breeze moved the curtains in the window. I love you, Sarah Stone. And I love you, my husband. Outside, in the garden that now bore witness to so many beautiful memories, Carmen's flowers swayed gently in the wind, as if dancing with joy for the family she had helped create from heaven. And somewhere in the universe, a woman smiled, knowing that true love always finds a way to triumph, especially when it is born from a heart that decides to stop to see another human being when everyone else walks by. Sarah and Marcus's story had become a legend in their community, a reminder that the most beautiful miracles often begin with the simplest acts of human kindness.